This is Living Left, the raw space where we redefine success, purpose, and identity through honest, unfiltered conversation. We're navigating business, family, change, chaos, one left turn at a time. It's not about finding what's next, it's about owning what's left. Join us and let's go there. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you today?
I'm great. How did you sleep last night, Tanya?
Darn, that was going to be my say. That's what I was going to say. You beat me to it. I slept actually very well last night in the
Oh, good.
countryside of Ireland. It's very
Oh,
quiet.
yes. Yes, you're away. You're not
I'm
home.
away. I'm working overseas. So I did actually sleep well, but I tend to go to bed later when I'm
You
here. So
you sleep in later. Interesting.
I
Well,
can
we
sleep
just
in
finished.
later. I know, daylight savings.
Well, I was gonna not say, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I was gonna say that our podcast just before was talking about how you wake up early and you have the same morning and your routine. So you sleep later when you're somewhere else. That's
I
interesting.
do. Well, I was up early this morning, but I find because I stay up later. So now I'm messed up.
Yeah, so you're getting
Like
the
I
same
stay
amount of
awake.
sleep, but you're up later, so you get up later.
Yeah, so my routine's off, so it's annoying me. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
Well,
That's
we're going to talk
basically
about sleep. Anyone who's
we are
listening and are
sleeping
like,
about talking
we're going
about
to try
sleep.
not to make it boring. Like, we're going to try to talk a little bit because it was daylight savings time. So with it, we got into a little bit of a conversation about how daylight savings time, so it's fall back. So at least you get an extra hour, which feels
Yes.
better on the first night. But then now we're a day into it, and
Couple of
the
days. Oh yeah,
nights
two.
are well, you're a little bit ahead, but like when I
Yeah.
went for a walk last night, it was like midnight at six
Mm,
o'clock. I'm like, oh man, so dark at night, so dark at night. So I guess in theory that's supposed to make us sleepier and make us go to bed earlier, but I don't think in this world, modern world, that's happening.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but I know for anyway, so without we might talk about daylight savings time, sleep seems like in a lot of circles, friends are not getting sleep, doesn't matter what life stage they're in, right? Whether they
Mm-hmm.
have small kids and the sleep is being taken away from them by the small people.
Yep.
Um, I think what is not talked about is how big kids also take away your sleep. I think that's a big conversation in teenage circles.
That is an interesting
Yeah,
conversation.
I think
That
I
is
lost
true.
a lot of sleep over the last few years, just waiting up and just the schedule is different. It's not just about sleep training little people and them. And then there's like this fun thing called hormones that seems to disrupt a lot of people's sleep as well. So
Yes.
I don't know. So why don't we talk a little bit? I don't know. We're not sleep experts. For those people that don't know, you do have a sister who is a sleep expert.
I do. Alana McGinn, who we are going to invite back to give us some very good tools and tips. She is a sleep expert, among other things, also divorce expert and stress management consultant. So she does a lot of things, but she originated and started in sleep with her babies, Good Night Sleep Site, and now has evolved to really helping women across the board sleep better, both at a personal level, but also does corporate talks. So we'll have her on so she can kind of tell us what we're doing wrong, more so what we could do better.
Yeah.
And also, I think what's important is just get a bit of an understanding as to why, and I think women of our age, there's a lot more, it's a little more complicated than just, you know, you have small children, and of course you're not sleeping because they're not sleeping. I think that there's a lot more complication, as you mentioned, from a hormone standpoint, a stress management standpoint. I really like what you were saying about when you have older kids. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought that because there's like this sweet spot when they're in their, what would you say, 7 to 12?
Yeah.
Where it's pretty regular and it's pretty consistent and everyone seems to be. And activities are at a regular time and just it just feels less up and down.
Yeah, it's busy,
Yeah.
but they're actually home for bedtime, like a
They
bedtime.
are.
It's later, but it's
Yes.
not
And you can tell
super
them
late.
when to go to bed, and you can probably manage that a little bit better
Yeah.
at a younger age. As they hit their teens, there is, the management of electronics and school and all of the stress that they're going through. And then, as you said, you go into later activities, later work, shifts, parties. Like, I do not like to have people in my house. I used to like, I love the idea of my kids having kids over. But also I don't love that on a Saturday night because I want to, I have to sleep in complete silence, complete darkness. I'm a light sleeper. So any amount of like creaking in any way. So that's why it's,
Yep.
they're like, can we just have some friends over? I'm like, oh, it's going to disrupt my sleep.
So there's like so much to unpack in that all of that. Okay, so
Hmm.
like okay, so let's just start. Let's talk about like general current sleep situation for you and me. Like what is your normal sleep when you go to bed at night? Like on a when you're home, what
Yeah,
is your
yeah.
normal routine? What is your normal
I am
routine?
in bed by 10.
In bed lights out?
Yeah, 10, 10, 15. So
In
I'm
bed
in
lights
bed
out.
by 9:45. I'm walking upstairs, wash my face, get into bed, scroll and or read. It's usually scrolling. Yes, I know, terrible, but whatever. And then lights out by 10, 10, 15, 10. And I'm asleep. I fall asleep immediately. That's not my issue. Then I wake up every two flipping hours to go to the bathroom. Every
And
two
then that's
hours.
disrupt. Yeah, that's and then can you get back to sleep when you
Yep, yep. And then I am part of the crew. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And like usually I can control. I'm not actually, sleep is like, for me, I've always like gotten into bed and felt so safe and comfy. Like I know people for a fact, friends, and if she's listening, she'll know who I'm talking about who, and it's not just her, who like literally, they don't fear sleep, but sleep is such an issue for them that it's not a like safe and comfy place. Like I get into bed and I'm like, oh my God, I'm safe now. I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to answer questions. I have no expectation. Like I love it. I love my bed. But now I'm the 3 o'clock, you wake up in the morning and it's like your to-do list starts at the top. Like there's no pre-warning and it takes me an hour to get back to sleep. So I force myself back to sleep and I'm asleep till usually 7. Then I'm up. Because I have no children, guys. When you have no children, you don't have to be up at 5. I remember those times. Up at
yes.
5 o'clock every morning to get my workout in and get out the door by 8, to get
So
to an office.
so you think of your bed as a safe, cozy space as like so interesting. I'm just listening. So first for comparison, first of all,
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
my bed. I think it's comfortable, but I definitely don't get in there and like I'm like it's like the next phase. So this is
You would
I
not, I don't think you look forward to your bed because
no, I don't.
you prolong sleep.
Yes,
You
so it's
stay
just
up.
interesting. I think it's from years of the quiet time is in the night. Like before I
Hmm.
had kids, I had a pattern and I was probably in bed asleep by 11, say. And then whatever,
That shocks
my
me.
routine was normal. My routine was but it was a more regular schedule. Like I had to be at work at a certain time, so therefore like I knew if I wasn't so I was asleep by 11ish. Then I had kids, and then for a decade, I was building I had another business before left turn,
Yeah.
and so that was I had kids in the day or partially part of the day, and so I would have like a second shift. They would go to bed at like 7, and I would work until 1 o'clock in the morning, and that
Hmm.
was like my work time, which completely probably dismantled the good
Yeah.
sleep habits.
Yeah.
And so I'm somewhere in the middle now, but I still find the nighttime quiet, and I feel like that's my time.
You feel
And
safe in that moment. So
I
you don't
feel
want to go
safe.
to sleep.
Yeah, because I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
this is my time. And then what happens is as children and family gets older and busier, that period of time gets later and later and later and later and later. So,
Right. You mean you don't have as much quiet time because they're around,
well, it used
because
to
they're
be
not
it was
asleep or
quiet
you're
at
picking
like
them up.
10. Now it's
Yeah.
quiet at midnight or it's quiet
Yeah.
at whatever. So I
That's
still,
fair.
there's like this period of time. So my regular weeknight routine is probably Like if I'm in my bed with my pajamas on and I've done all my things and I'm reading my book and it's like before 11:15, like I am, and who's kidding, it's never 11:15. But if it was
Later.
11:15,
It's later, you mean?
I would be, I'm high-fiving, like I'm congratulating myself. I'm like, look at you, what an adult you are. You're in your bed.
Adulting.
You're
I'm in
look
bed.
at you. But then sometimes I try to trick myself like a toddler. Like if you get in, you can read your book for this long and you can do your things. So in the last
That's
couple
why
of
it
weeks,
is totally different.
it's a
Like
trick. Like I need
I
to
don't go
trick
through that at
myself to
all.
get there. But I would say I've been trying really hard to turn my light up by midnight. Um, but that doesn't always happen. And sometimes if I'm reading, I really want to keep reading. But like last night, I was winding down and I went for a walk in the midnight darkness. And I had my shower last night and I was in my pajamas. And then I was like, well, I'm going to read my book downstairs. So I sat in the family room and then it was a 10:30, 10:45. I was like, be an adult, go upstairs because you're going to start to get tired reading this book. So I went upstairs, and then the next thing I knew, it was like 11:45, and I was like in the bathroom brushing my teeth. I'm like, I don't even know what happened to an hour. Like I just sort of lost it. I'm not quite sure. So
So I believe strongly that we are the equivalent of two schools of people.
yeah,
And
we are.
I see it, you probably see it in, no, but I don't think there's any other sorts. Like I actually think that you either
That's why we're
are,
such good friends.
I know, because I see it in my kids.
Hmm.
So, so I believe it's like, again, I will say this on every podcast. I'm sure there's some science behind it. I don't know what the science is because I am not someone to research, but I'm sure that there is something that te clinically describes why people are one way versus the other. But here's my theory. And I do think that it is in relation to cortisol levels and anxiety. I just think it is. I think that's a way people manage anxiety. I think there's anxiety in both cases, but I think it's like how people manage it. So what you just described about like the evening and loving that protected space, everyone I talk to who talks about that and like loves that. Like my youngest kid love she'll go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And just because that's her safe space of like no one's up, no one worries, like no one asks any questions. It's her, and that's how she manages her whatever. Like, how am I going to take on the day? I think there's that type. And then there's the others who go to bed because they're exhausted and the bed is a place so that the morning is that safe space. Like I
Yeah.
love a quiet morning, and I think there's just two sorts of people. Because
Yeah.
exactly how you described it, even though I knew that about you, is what I have witnessed and seen. It goes one way or the other.
Yeah, and I do find there's triggers like to make me stay like I do know now. Like if I open my laptop at night, I'm up for hours longer.
No, I know. I'll
So
get
I
the
also
emails.
know I need to avoid certain things because my
Yeah.
brain is I'll
We'll just keep going.
because I'll be like, I'll just go upstairs and look in the office for a minute, and then that will be 10 o'clock at night, and then boom, I've got 2 hours of massive productivity. So
Yeah,
that's
you are.
also tricky because it's very productive. But if I do that, then I'm for sure sacrificing sleep because then it will take me a lot longer to
Because you
come
still have to get
down.
up when the rest of the world gets up.
Yeah, but I am very productive at night,
You
very
are.
productive at night. And it's tricky because I have to, and I think it's also
I know when you've
the
been
blue
on.
screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
the blue screen is also like
Well, it's not good for you.
not good. Um, but so let's talk about the fact that you're waking up at night because again, like I
Isn't every
usually,
woman waking up
well,
at night?
I'm not waking up. I don't wake
Really?
up. No, I don't wake up at all. But
Well,
the
that's because
big,
you're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, like, technically, oh, you don't wake up at all? You sleep all the way through?
yeah,
You don't have to pee?
no.
Oh my
And I
God,
drink a lot of
shocking.
water. Like I drink a
Shocking.
whole thing of water like while I'm sitting there reading in my bed. So
Shocking to me.
so
I wish.
magnesium, I've started taking magnesium probably 3 years ago, and that is
I do too.
massive.
Same.
That majorly helps me.
Same.
But I find the same thing. I think if I wake up within a period of time in the first hour, if I wake up in the first hour, and it doesn't matter if I've been asleep for 15 minutes, then I'm done. Like it's going to take me hours
Well,
now.
that's a real thing. Like, and again, I'm sure
Yeah.
Alana will be able to corroborate this, but there is a thing that you either do a 20-minute nap or an hour and a half to do not mess with your sleep cycle. So
Yeah,
that
so if
makes
I go to
sense.
sleep, if I go to, so this is what's disruptive. If I actually go to sleep early, because sometimes I do go to sleep earlier, and that almost always inconveniently coincides with people coming home late in my house.
Sure. And they wake
And
you up.
so then if I hear the door slam or whatever,
Yes. Because they're
then
not quiet.
no, then boom, I'm awake and then it's
Yeah.
it. So I will stay awake to circumvent all of that.
That
Like
makes
I
sense.
know
That
I
makes sense.
wait for everybody to come home.
Hmm.
So that's when we talked about phases in your life that
Hmm.
are different.
That's a good
Like,
point.
yeah,
But
so
I
it's
don't
not
even
like you're
know
getting
what it's
woken up.
like to have maybe more than 3 hours straight. Like I have not experienced that on the odd occasion. Like maybe I could count on my hand in the last 10 years.
Really
Yeah, now I did just start well, not just, I've been on a few things to get me going on HRT, and I do dream a lot more. So that leads me to believe even in my 2 to 3 hours, I'm like deeper in sleep because my dreams are crazy right now
did you
and
not
have
dream
been.
before?
No, because I don't think I was really sleeping. Like I'd have like an odd one and go, huh, when you wake up and you're like, I can't really remember. Like now I'll wake up and I distinctly remember, like I know I was in that dream and that's makes me feel like the younger version of myself. So the HRT, I believe, is
Interesting.
helping in some regards, but it's not solving the pee problem. And I drink a lot of water too, but I'm up I have to pee all the time.
No, I'm okay. And I sleep through,
That's amazing.
but I as long as I'm not disrupted. So I have a noise machine. I don't put it
I
on
was
every
gonna
night,
say
but
I
I
should get
often
a
do.
noise machine.
I have like this little noise machine. I've got two from Amazon, like it's a little two package, and they're little, like they're the size of an egg, and it's
I should look at
loud.
that.
It's awesome. It was like $10. And you can take it with you anywhere. And then if I'm extra worried that there's going to be noise, then I also have earplugs I'll jam in. So I'll put in
Earplugs don't
earplugs.
stay in my ears. I've tried that.
They don't stay in.
You
I wind
do
up with the purple, no, none of that.
no
Or the little,
masks?
no. But I just and then I have my sore shoulder, so that's been hurting a little bit. So that's
That
been
would be
disrupting
hard.
my sleep a bit, but it's okay. It's manageable now. But anyway, I don't know if this is a terribly exciting, but I think is for me, I've been learning more about sleep in relation to mood, in relation to focus, in relation to weight loss.
Mm.
And so the only thing that gets me, so we know, we're on this journey. I'm trying to be a healthier version of myself. So the one thing that gets me into bed is the same motivation that tells me not to have the dessert. So that's
Yes.
when
The
I'm
longer
like,
you stay up, how are you not snacking?
yeah. So if I
Yeah.
say get into bed because you said no to the dessert, so get into bed because that's supposed to be the same
Oh, that's
thing.
smart.
But I still wind up like beside my side of the bed is like there's pens, there's note paper. Like what's beside your bed? Like I have a stack of books, notepads, pens. I will sit there and like it's like a trick.
No,
You just get into your bed. It
no,
doesn't mean I'm sleeping, but I'm
no. I
in
have
the
some books
room.
that I barely look at, some like cream to say like, wash your
Yeah.
hands, like,
Remind
moisturize.
yourself. Yeah.
And no, I don't have anything. I have gummies in a drawer and vibrators. Listen, let's make this exciting. I'm sure other people have the same stuff.
People were like, I've had enough of them. I'm not listening anymore. And then
If
she's
you
like,
stayed to this one, what is that? 20 minutes in for the
are we
good
already
talk
that
about
long?
sleep.
Oh,
No,
but
I don't know.
it's a boring talk about sleep.
I'm
And
laughing. That's what I have. You know what is blowing my mind though is now that I think about it, is the idea of, so you know how you'll make fun of me in like the nicest way when I say that about my mornings.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I have to do this and I'm doing this and then I have to do this. Da, 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 da. And like you do exactly the same thing at night. I don't do any of that at night. I just like
It's
I
a
don't
really good point.
yeah, I know it is. I was thinking about that. It's like my mind is a bit blown by that because when you're talking about all, and I know a few other people that way, who the amount of not management, but discipline that you put into your night routine, where I literally go upstairs, wash my face, go to bed. Like there's no thought. There's no thought whatsoever. Um, And when you're like, I don't understand what you're talking about when it comes to like the morning routine where you like laugh at me that there's so much discipline in that. Like I have to do this. And then if I have to wake up 20 minutes earlier, how do I circumvent that to make sure I get this in? We're exactly the same, just on different
It's a good, interesting
times,
point. Yeah, like you're doing your
all to
exercise in
manage
the morning,
stress
I'm doing
and
it
your
at
day.
night. It's like it takes me, I feel like I ramp up as the day goes.
Yeah, and I
Like,
don't. I'm the opposite. And
yeah,
I think those are the two schools of thought. I'm like go, go, go in the morning and then I crash at night. Like I even find now that I can't even like I'm not even productive beyond really 3 o'clock.
so you know what's interesting is I bet you're the majority and I'm the minority
Why do you always say
because
that about yourself? I don't think so.
well, so this is why I think this is because I feel pressure. So the recommendation is how people should get up, do your like the recommended like
Sure.
the
Society is
recommendation
telling.
is society tells you you should get up, do your exercise in the morning, hammer these things, discipline doing the first thing in the morning,
Okay,
and
so
do all
really
of
good
these
point.
things pattern. And so and in the same way the society will say then do not do these things in the night so that you can calm down for the sleep, right? So therefore I will think, well, I shouldn't be, even though my most productive time is at night, I'm not, I'm trying to listen to that to try to calm down. Like, don't do your work, don't watch that much TV, don't do these things. So
Yeah,
I
mind blown
try
again.
to stop doing those. I try to follow those patterns
And why do you need to? Like that is so
to
interesting to me. It comes down to like it's because you have like why do we all have to start work at 8 o'clock? Like why? Why do you have to? So we have the luxury because we work for ourselves and we remote work, right? You can work whenever you want to work. You can choose not to have meetings like before noon if you wanted to. Like you could, Emery, right? Like we have the luxury of doing that. I believe like that's the way the world should be. Again, this is comes down to, you know, again, how it's always been. And it does not sort through. And I bet it's not just the minority of people. I think it's probably a 50-50 split, like most things. But society, patriarchy, all of the things have told us that this is the way we do it. We all have to get up at 8 so we're productive. Because I feel like, look at me, I'm rocking this world. But you know what? If you actually look at me on the opposite end, not so much.
what do you
Like
mean
I'm
the opposite end of
failing
the day?
of the day because
Yeah.
I'm getting up every 2 hours and you're telling me that you're fucking oh, I just swore, but that's fine. I already
Okay.
talked about vibrators, so we're good. But like literally, you um are actually getting potentially better sleep than I am, which is an example of everything that is wrong with this world. That is my
That's your Oprah moment.
that's my Oprah left turn, like, really? Because I never really put two and two together because we talk about it, but we don't really talk about it. But until you laid it out, I'm like, that is what's wrong with this world is again, we don't even understand it, but we're so ingrained to believe that this is the way. And in fact, you're the one who's probably getting the better sleep. And I'm
I'm
not
getting
saying
the
the other people aren't. It shouldn't be about how you do it, is my point.
yes,
It
it's
should
like
be
you
the
get it when
outcome, and the world should accommodate based on individuality versus this is what we've been told for years and years and the way the world works. But guess what? If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. That's basically my point.
it's a really good point. It's like the phrase when they say like the hours you get in sleep before midnight are the best hours. And I always wonder, well, why? Isn't it really
Why?
like the first 2 hours of your night? Like, does
Well,
it really
well,
matter? Does it
we're gonna
matter
have Alana
before
come in
midnight?
and she's gonna tell us those circadian rhythm and all of like there's something there,
There's probably
obviously.
something about darkness and whatever, but when it
Yeah,
gets
I
dark at
believe that.
7 p.m. now, is that even a thing?
Well, that's
Like,
a really good point. So now,
or
like,
yeah,
yeah,
and it really it's about good sleep and it's about
yeah,
and if you don't get a good sleep, so here's a thing, separate segue. So last week was the Blue Jays, the World Series, and everyone was staying up super
staying
late
up.
because these games were so late. And I
Yep.
was laughing to everyone I was hearing because this was my
It's
normal
still early
time.
for you.
So it was all my normal time. So even when but it was out of my control. So I felt like, ooh, interesting. So although I might be awake at 12:30 on a normal night or 12 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
because it was not my control. Like I'm waiting, like, are you going to get the run? Like, what's going on here? Because it's
Yeah.
not your control. You
Yeah.
sometimes feel a little more tired because you're not following your body. You're not
Yeah.
in
Yeah, for
control of the
sure.
decision, which is also why when people disrupt, like when babies or children or spouses disrupt you,
Mm-hmm.
it's more annoying. But then, so the world or the Canadian world was kind of walking around very tired last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you combine World Series with the time change.
Yeah.
So we had
And
our team
Halloween.
and Helen, we had our team meeting yesterday, and our whole team was tired.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's also interesting. So how do people feel when they're tired? And are they happier? No, probably not. They're probably not as focused. So like sleep is whether you lose it for a reason you want to lose it for, like a fun event,
Yeah,
or
sure. There's a
you don't
choice in
feel
that.
as good.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't feel as good. You don't
Yeah.
feel as energetic. You don't feel as probably as
But imagine
happy.
if we took the shame away from just the idea of how people are sleeping.
There
That's
is
going
a
to be a
lot of
question I'm
shame.
going to have for my sister. So may when we have Alana on, precursor Alana, if you're listening to this, is
Yes.
that it comes down to yes, there's all the things you need to do, but is that more beneficial than the shaming of it all?
There is definite shame because I feel like there's little jokes or comments sometimes around like because I wake up later, right?
Yeah,
So it's like I'm not lazy, but I can be made to feel lazy. And I'm like, no,
absolutely.
I was up, because my husband goes to bed very early in comparison to me. Um, like last night he went up at like 9. He's like, okay, I'm done. So he went to bed at 9 and
Look at
I,
you, just
yeah,
the way you said it.
yeah.
You went up at
See,
9.
so I equally shame. Like it's a merge back and forth. Like you're like, oh, you're going to bed early. But he doesn't shame me for sleeping in. I'll give him that. He does not because he for so many years knows I have had a hard time sleeping. So he's happy when I'm sleeping. And probably
Because he
also he
knows you're happier, which means he'll be happier.
well, and I'd say when I'm sleeping and he wakes up early, he has his quiet time and he's sleeping and I'm up late and I have my quiet time. So it's
Precisely.
equally fine, right?
Yeah, so I
So
think we need to dig into that a little bit. That's an
the
interesting,
shame around
again,
sleep,
as there, or like the individuality. I mean, I do understand everyone needs to be healthy, but and I believe that there's science and biological ways in which it is better. But when you talk about risk versus reward, like when you get to a certain age, my whole thing is if you use the both of us as examples, imagine if you felt fully kind of seen and whole in the way in which you do it, and that's just the way, and you could accommodate your life accordingly, right?
yeah,
If you
how
could,
lucky we
your
are that
family,
yeah,
you can, but like even more so you would embrace it. It's like the idea of the way our brains work in the way in which we manage our to-do lists and all of that, right? Like it's the same idea. Sleep is in that category. That was just the aha I had. It's like it's the same idea. It's like
yeah,
why are we all trying to do this one way? So that would be my question is, does it have to be that way? Give me an option B.
yeah. Do you nap? Are you a napper?
So I am starting to embrace napping more than I used to because I think I'm getting old. And
Because you're
like
more
a
tired.
nice little 20, so I did that today because I was up late last night and then I was up early. Usually I'll sleep in a little bit more because 8 o'clock this time is in the middle of the night in Canada.
Yeah,
So I have a later morning, but I was up this morning and then I did some work, had some breakfast, had some coffee, and then napped for an hour. And then I feel much better. So I'm starting to embrace that. Um, so that's another thing, having a life and a
yeah,
world where that is not shamed either. Like
yeah.
just have a
So
nap
you
if that's
nap.
going to keep you going.
So for me, I'm still having my morning coffee because it was like 9 o'clock when we started
Sure, I
this.
know you said, oh,
And
it's just morning. I'm like, what? I'm like, it's
but for
two
you,
o'clock
it's the
here.
afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
the afternoon because we're on different time zones, which is also harder for me. Like I look more tired because it's morning.
Right.
And
Well,
I
I don't
like
know.
doing
I
things
think
in the morning, actually. I do like getting
oh,
up and
same.
doing things in the
Same,
morning.
same.
But if I'm left to a no alarm, no anything, I'm gonna just give myself a slower morning. But
The
napping,
reality,
go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
It's because I'm a terrible napper, like terrible napper. Like
It's
I
taken
hate
me a
it.
while. so do I was the same way, Emery, and I just think that that's because, it's like wasted time. I think we're
Yeah.
convinced that like, oh, if you're gonna nap, like why? Like you could be doing laundry, you could be doing all these things. And then I think as your life slows down because you don't have the responsibility of kids or whatever, you have just more time, back to our last podcast. And then your body needs it. Like I'm just feel way better, especially if I don't, it's again, it's just taking the shame away from all of that. If that works for you,
Yeah, if
have
it
a nap
works for
for
you.
20 minutes.
But you
Like
feel good? You feel okay when you wake up?
because I can have a long one. So you cannot go for 2 hours, 3 hours. Some people might be able to do that, but there's science. It's like 20 minutes
Yeah. I know the
or
20
90
minutes is
minutes.
recommended, but
So
I
I do an
can't.
hour for me. I think everyone's probably different. I can't go more than an hour. If
I
I go more
wake
than an
up,
hour, I'm
yeah.
screwed. I
I
feel
wake
dr
up feeling like I'm like wrapped in maple syrup. Like I just cannot
try a
groggily
20
wake out
minute.
of it.
Try a 20. I have a girlfriend. She is like, they are power nappers and she literally, and I've witnessed it, will like set an alarm for 20 minutes. She's out cold and she's up for 20 minutes and that's her nap and she could do that no
I
problem.
remember Alana talking about a nappuccino. Did you ever hear her talk about that?
Nappuccino,
So a
no, but that's,
nappuccino, so you have caffeine, like you have a coffee,
yes,
and then you go right to
yes.
sleep. So by the time the caffeine has hit your bloodstream, it's about 20 minutes. So if you go right to sleep for the 20-minute nap, so that when you wake up, you're supposed to wake up refreshed. So you don't have that
So that's what happened to me
feeling.
today. I could feel it. You also have to learn your body. So I'll nap when I need to nap. Like if I don't have to, I don't do it. But like this morning I could feel it, like kind of that lull. And I actually just finished 2 coffees and I went right to bed and then I was up and I felt great. Had a shower, was good to go. So I think that those are things I think when we have her on, she can talk about that. I love that idea of a nappuccino. I didn't even know that's what it was called, but that's
Yeah,
amazing.
I heard her talk about it and I thought, well, when I want to try napping, which is unusual. So anyway, we talked
But do
before.
you need to? Napping for you is a different thing if you're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like your day is just starting. I think it has to look at a whole 24-hour clock.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I don't think well, on the weekends, I would for sure go to bed at 1. But like on a weekday, like I'm turning out the
12,
light by
12:30.
midnight. I'm like, it's
Well, there
still
you
the
go.
day that I woke up in. It's still technically the day. Like I didn't make it to the next day.
But if you're just embrace the fact that, you know what, I don't go to bed before midnight. Like that's just it. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
have to change. Like imagine the amount of energy you could save in trying to just be like, okay, I have to do that. Certain circumstances you will if you have to get up earlier, you're not feeling well. I think it's also listening to your body, right?
yeah,
But if you imagine could just embrace, no, this is how I sleep. And guess what? Everyone who says that that's bad, screw you. Like this is what works for me. And, it's fine.
yeah.
So
And
that's the question I want to ask.
I've adapted some of my morning things because I'm not that fast in the morning either. So I like
No.
have my shower at night. Like I
Yes.
do things almost like, when you have small kids, it's like bath,
You
bed,
just do
book.
the opposite.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll shower and I'll wind myself down. I'll do that. It's like the morning
I
things in
love
the
that.
night.
That was my aha. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, you actually just do everything I'm doing, like different things, but the idea of the discipline just happens on the other end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah. So I
Interesting.
don't know if this
There
is
you
the
go.
most thrilling podcast. Maybe we're like putting people to sleep.
I'm mind
Maybe they should
blown.
be listening to this before they go to bed. I don't know if this is a winner or not. But the topic is sleep, and I feel like that comes up in every group of girlfriends I talk about
Yep.
or talk
100%.
with. Even men, men talk about how'd you sleep? What happened?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
we didn't talk about anything else,
But
but
the insight
is sleep the
is
way you want
what
to sleep?
if, there you go. That's a left
Have,
turn in it. We were wondering what the left turn was going to be in this one, and that's it. Imagine if we were all told we could just sleep the way we want to sleep, naps and
yeah,
all was it okay, and the world would accommodate accordingly most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Imagine.
Well, and that's the other aha. Again, I'm very, very grateful for this life that
We've
we've
built.
built, that this is
Yep.
allowing us to living left. That's the
Yes.
whole thing
Yes.
is,
That's the whole thing.
okay, so we can adapt schedules. We're very flexible. Like yeah, we can have a late night and compensate for that.
Absolutely. Yay,
So,
us. Good
okay.
chat. I was skeptical about this one, but I enjoyed it.
Well, we didn't talk about daylight savings. That was supposed to be the
By the
kickoff,
way, it
but
happened. So if you guys haven't figured it
yeah.
out, my kid was like, because everything automatically changes. She's like, oh, that happened. I'm like, yeah,
So
but you
that's
wouldn't know.
interesting, and they wouldn't know because it just, yeah,
They wouldn't
everything
know
is,
because if she's getting up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like whether she clued in that it's an hour difference, she's like, oh, this is around the time I get up anyways on a Sunday. You know what I mean?
yeah.
She's like, oh,
So
I didn't even realize.
that's an interesting point too. Our kids wake up like their schedules, like, and if we're talking about shame, we're also like when they
I
sleep during
probably
the
shame a little
day.
bit too much about
Well,
that.
because
I don't
there
care
is,
if you do it as long as you show up in the other areas when you have to.
yeah,
Unfortunately, at university or school or, work, you don't always have the flex. You kind of have to show up at 8 o'clock every so
the
often.
world is still a 9 to 5 world.
Yes, exactly. But
The
that I
world
think is
is.
the big question.
Well, like when you read, I read an article about high schools and why, because teenagers need to sleep longer and they sleep later, their rhythm is off.
Yeah,
But high school usually starts earlier in the day than elementary school, which is silly because these
silly.
kids
Agreed.
really struggle. And those are
Yep.
nappers. Those kids come home and nap.
Yeah.
So,
And take a nod to our European fellows where, their siestas.
yeah. So other countries have different
Yeah, so there's,
adaptations.
I think, a whole thing. I'm sure other people have figured it all out, and we're just going, huh,
Yes. Well, and university, I was going to say kids who have scheduled their classes later in the day to
there is
adapt.
more flex. Yeah.
Yeah, so they schedule their classes later, and you think, oh my gosh, you're starting a class at 4 o'clock in the
Well,
afternoon, but
that
they're
works for
like
them.
raring to go at 4 o'clock. Like they're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And today's workforce is, and tomorrow's workforce is going to be so different. So, like, if you take the shame away, they should be building lives where they're most productive,
Yeah.
you know?
So next
Interesting.
time I send a pile of emails at night, you should be saying, good for you.
Oh, no, I love it when I get it. I know you've
Oh,
been
okay.
on. I was
Oh,
like, and it
okay.
works for me, right? Because then I get up in the morning and I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, here
I
they
don't mind
are.
it. I'm like, she's on. The juices are flying. All right, Emery, have a good one. This
Thanks.
was a
We
good
got it.
chat.
Yeah, well, there we go. Hopefully, well, they're not all
Hopefully
going to be
everyone enjoys it.
bangers. Yeah,
They're not all going to be bangers. All
whatever.
right,
Okay, bet. All right, good.
we're
Maybe
done.
this is what's the phrase? This is 6, 7.
I don't even understand that,
Six,
but
seven?
that's okay.
Are they saying
Yeah,
it to you? I think it means, well, that we should have a whole podcast
we'll
on
have
all the
that'll be our
phrases.
next on to our next podcast. Have a good day,
Okay, bye.
Emery. Bye.
Don't nap. You already did it.
If you felt this one, share it because what's left isn't less, it's everything.
Is that it? I just still. You wanted to do it again. I'm like, why is there